Right, so I am Riddhi Panchal. I am a psychologist and psychotherapist, and I've been working in the field of mental health since last 4 years. And first of all, I welcome all the participants out there, and I would also like to extend my gratitude for attending this webinar on a Sunday morning. It means a lot to all of us. So thank you so much for that. Uh, yes. So, as Confucius rightly said, choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. Choosing a career is one of the most important decisions in all of our lives. It's also something which plays a huge impact. It plays a huge role in our entire life. It is somewhere a particular decision which kind of shapes the life we would want to create. So definitely, it is very natural for some of us to feel overwhelmed, to feel confused about what career choice to make, especially when we have so many people around us constantly bombarding us with questions like, oh, what do you want to do ahead? What stream are you going to take? So on and so forth. I totally understand it becomes very overwhelming in such situations. So, yes. But another thing is, as a psychologist and psychotherapist, I have seen quite a lot of my clients coming with different mental health issues, right from anxiety, feeling burnt out, or even lack of satisfaction. More often than not, unfortunately, some of them, the roots for these problems is their career choice, and that becomes a very alarming issue for us. In fact, in UK there was a meta-analysis that was done in which it was found that 9 out of 10 people, that is like 90% of the population of the sample size, men who were aged between 20 and 65, mentioned that they regretted their career choice. Given a choice, they would always go back and do something else. In fact, they also mentioned that they took a decision, they took a random course because they were thinking of going with the flow, or because of the pressure of time that they had, that, oh, you do not have a lot of time, just choose a career and go with the flow, and things like that. Another study which was done in a college premises among college students, over there it was found that 20% of students, after completing their 6 months in a particular course, they reported that given a choice, they would go back and change the course that they selected. Now, this becomes very alarming for all of us because, as I said, career is one of the most important decisions that we need to make. And yes, a lot of us who might just think that, you know what, my friend is taking this, let me just go and take that particular stream. It's okay, dekha jayega, everything will be figured out later on. But as I said, that sometimes it can also lead to a lot of psychological mental health issues as well. And of course, it can lead to so much of frustration. So, as a psychologist, I believe that we need to focus on four major aspects to select a particular career stream or a career choice. One is aptitude, the other is interest, third is personality, and the fourth is emotional intelligence. Now, let's say I have aptitude, I have somewhere my personality also matches in the field of mechanics, but I have zero interest in it, absolutely no interest. But if I still go ahead in that particular field, I might end up being burnt out, I might end up being very frustrated, and so on and so forth. It becomes like then a domino effect. So somewhere it is important for us to consider all the four aspects while we are choosing a particular career in a particular field. So yes, aptitude, when I speak about it, aptitude is one's innate ability, innate characteristic to do a particular thing better than the other. It also predisposes that individual to have more chances of success in that field as compared to others. So that becomes, and that's one of the reason, right? We see some people who are so good in designing and some people who are absolutely amazing in, let's say, mechanics. So all of us possess those individual characteristics, that innate ability that is important for us to find, and at the same time, it is important for us to choose a decision based on that ability, because that can help us go a very long way and avoid any kind of issues as such which are coming from a particular career choice, to say so. And I am so happy to know that Arkin Institute is taking this aspect into consideration, and at the same time, it is helping its students in various type of assessments and various type of career guidance so that they can make this particular important decision for themselves, which is a very commendable thing, and that's just amazing, I feel. So yes, today's webinar we are going to be exploring different fields after the 12th standard boards, and it is for all the streams: arts, commerce, and science, humanities, all the fields that we will be talking about. Uh, Yes, so totally in today we would be talking about these fields that we can see on our screen. Certain fields in management and law, that is law, hotel management, business management, army as well as navy. And in design we would be looking at design, that is NID, NIFT, UCED, and as well we have architecture, of course. So these are the careers that we would be tapping on, and this is something that we would be talking about in today's webinar. And I am so grateful and I am so thrilled to announce that we have different eminent professionals coming from all these careers to talk and to address all the students and parents out there. So I'm sure it's going to be a very nice learning experience for all of you. With this, I would like to introduce Parul Joshi ma'am, who is an architect who has been in this field since 30 years now, more than 30 years, in fact, and who is also the curator of this wonderful webinar and the chairperson of Arkin. I'm so happy to have her as one of our speakers. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Riddhi. Thrilled to have you too, as always. You are always our asset. Very good afternoon to all present today. It is indeed heartening to see you all here today, as your presence today indicates the readiness of us Indians to explore non-conservative careers, which in itself establishes the certain growth of India. We at Arkin are a group of like-minded professionals that believe in the well-integrated and holistic learning for the complete development of and growth of the youth. We believe, and I'm sure you all will agree, that our country needs to grow and prosper. We need many more verticals than engineering and medicine. We need soldiers to guard our nation. We need architects to design hospitals. We need designers to design transport, communication, etc. We need professionals. We need lawyers to protect us. We need professionals from hospitality. We need administrators to govern us, so on and so forth. And none of these professionals are any less important, if not more, than a medicine or an engineering graduate. And so this webinar is our effort to bring many such careers in which the youth of India can make a mark with. So without taking much of your time, I will hand over the podium back to Riddhi so we can start with individual careers and their prospects, the colleges, etc. Over to you, Riddhi.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So now, having said that, now we have first career as law, and I am thrilled to introduce our speaker for the same. We have Naosh Kubhalkar, sir. He is an advocate at High Court from Nagpur. He has been practicing since 1991. So with him, we have like 3 decades of experience coming in and speaking to you all. So along with that, he has also made amazing appearances on TV and radio to talk about various acts and laws as well. Also, he is an author of a Marathi book. Again, he has an experience in academic activities as well as a lecturer and as a moot court judge. Right now, Sir is also having his YouTube channel to simplify quite a lot of aspects, legal aspects, and that YouTube channel is known as Legal Inspiration. So, over to you, Sir. Thank you so much for having addressed these young generation, and I'm sure they would learn a lot of things from you today.
Yes, thank you, Riddhi, for that wonderful beginning and nice introduction. And can I share my screen here?
Yes, sir, absolutely.
So that, okay, is it visible? Is my screen visible to all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yes. So a very good morning to all of you, all the parents and students. And as Riddhi has introduced, I'm a practicing lawyer since 1991. I have been practicing at mainly at High Court at Nagpur, though I have practiced at the initial stage of my career in almost all the courts. So you have already been introduced to me by Riddhi, so I wouldn't take much time on my own introduction. Let us move forward with the presentation. So let me just begin with a story. This story would emphasize the importance of knowledge, importance of expert knowledge. The period during which this happened is medieval period, and this happened in England. In those days, the trade used to be done through steamers. The merchants used to take their steamers to various ports and used to conduct business and the trade with people there and used to collect wealth and come back to their places. So there was a very rich merchant who once took his steamer for business, and he went on a business trip. He anchored his steamer at various ports, did business. He had a large crew on his steamer. After conducting business for quite a number of days, they anchored their steamer at the last port. And after doing business on that port and that island, they wanted to return back to after collecting huge wealth, they wanted to return back to their own places. So the day of returning came, and when the crew in the engine room went and wanted to start the steamer wouldn't start. The engine just wouldn't start. So they were all worried. The merchant had every kind of engineer, expert mechanics on his board, and all of them they tried their hand, but somehow something happened and the engine wouldn't start. So all were worried. They wanted to go back to their place, and they were all eager to go back, but then the steamer wouldn't start. What to do? So worried, the merchant was very worried. Somebody suggested him from the island. Somebody suggested him that there is an old mechanic on the island who is an expert in these steamer things, these ship problems. So you should call him. Immediately, the old mechanic was called. The mechanic came, and he was very old. He had a very withered looks on his face. He just carried one bag. Then he went to the engine room and started examining things. There was a large network of pipes, and then the mechanic would just touch some pipe here and there and check this and that. And then he stopped at some place, took out a hammer from his bag, and tapped at a particular place few times. Suddenly, there was a hissing sound of release of the steam somewhere, and the engine came to life. As soon as the engine came to life, there was all cheer everywhere. People were happy, and they were very happy to know that now they would be in a position to go back. So after that, the merchant asked that old mechanic how much was his bill, how much he owed him. The old mechanic made some calculation in his mind and then said, "Sir, please pay me pounds 10,000." Now, that was a very hefty sum in those days. The merchant was very shocked. He was annoyed. He said, he just asked him an explanation. How you are charging me such a hefty sum? Explain that. The old mechanic just took out a chit and scribbled something on it, gave it to the merchant. And when the merchant saw it, he suddenly apologized to the mechanic and immediately paid him pounds 10,000. Now, what was that? What was written on the chit? You must be wondering. There was a bill. He divided his items into a bill, and the first item was because the merchant had said, what you did, you just tapped at some place and you were charging me 10,000 pounds. So the bill contained one item, pound one for tapping, and pounds 9,999 for knowing where to tap. So friends, now you must have understood the importance of knowledge. As soon as the mechanic gave this bill to the merchant, he immediately paid that amount because the merchant possessed that expertise, deep expert knowledge. No one on his board could restart the engine, but the mechanic knew where to tap only because of his expert knowledge. That is the power of knowledge. That is the power of expertise. That is what an expert lawyer, a career lawyer, an expert lawyer is like. So let us move on to the next slide. I'll be very fast now. Apart from expertise and money, what else is a career of law, career in law holds in store for you? Now, here is a list of things that you can see on the slide. First of all, as soon as you become a lawyer, immediately you get status. Let me tell you, when I became a lawyer, and the very first day I was donning my coat and robes and that gown and band, people around, I mean, in the court, the staff and other people started calling me Sahib. It was such a different feeling. Initially, it was awkward and embarrassing, but immediately I realized now I have become a Sahib. Of course, friends, I'm not saying just for those side things we become lawyer. We become lawyer because we want to serve the society. Just mentioning you certain things that hold the profession of law in store for you. Then this profession gives you a wonderful opportunity to refine your personality because you come in contact with so many kinds of personalities, so many kinds of people. You have to know so many things, and you have to be a very stable-minded kind of person. That opportunity is there in this profession. You become a part of the intelligentsia of the city. Those you start getting recognized as one of those who belong to intellectual class. Then this profession, you are totally your own boss. You are not dependent upon anyone. This is totally self-employment. You are dependent on your own self. And with increase in population, with increase in lot of transactions in the country, in and around your area, disputes do arise. Of course, one wouldn't wish that people should be in dispute all the time, but it is an inevitable thing. Disputes, conflicts do arise amongst people, and they give rise to legal problems. So there is always a work available. There is always work available for a lawyer. It can be of any kind. What can the kind of work there be that we will see in the next slides? Then this profession gives you security of money. Of course, at the beginning you don't get much money, but as soon as you establish yourself in the profession, money starts coming. And as you grow on, as you go on growing in the profession, it increases also to the extent unimaginable. The profession gives you power. As I told you in the story, the power was that mechanic possessed power of what? The power of knowledge. A lawyer's knowledge is uncomparable. A common man wouldn't understand certain things quickly as a lawyer, a practicing lawyer, or any lawyer would do. Then the most important thing is that this profession gives you opportunities to serve the society in various ways. This is the central point, rather, I would say. The profession of law, if at all there is any purpose, it is to serve the society with the help of your knowledge. People are in trouble. People do not understand simple things. People, of course, do not understand complex things. Then the lawyers come to their rescue. They offer their services. They help them solve their problems and try to bring a smile on their faces. And above all, when you go to bed at night, you feel you are having a feeling of deeper satisfaction. That is what this profession of law offers you. Now, let's see what are various options after you complete an LLB degree. Now, you may complete LLB degree either through a 5 years course or maybe 3 years course. Whatever the degree that you possess, see, these are the options available to you. Immediately, you can clear all India bar examination and become an advocate. If you can follow my screen, see my mouse is moving. You can follow my mouse. So after completing the all India bar examination, you can get enrolled yourself as a practicing advocate. And after that, there are two avenues open for you. You can start practice in a court of law, either as a criminal lawyer, civil lawyer, income tax lawyer, cyber lawyer, tax lawyer, and whatnot. There are so many areas of expertise. family lawyer and labor lawyer, employment lawyer, so many things. And then there is another option. You can join in some corporate firm for working as an advocate for the firm, or you may work as a legal advisor, or you may draft documents for them. That is how the becoming an advocate leads you to. Then you can join judicial services. At the entry level, there is the services of judicial service of magistrate, or later, after completing some practice, you can join as a district judge. And in further later years, you can even become a high court judge or a Supreme Court judge also. Then you may join public service commissions like MPSC, UPSC on their board, and as a junior law officer or as an assistant public prosecutor in the court. I myself was an additional government leader and as an additional public prosecutor in the High Court for quite a number of years. Now I am practicing as a private lawyer. At the initial stage of my career, I practiced as a private lawyer. In between, I practiced as a government lawyer in the High Court. Now I am again a private lawyer. So I know what it means to be. You still remain a lawyer. It doesn't mean that you cease to be a lawyer when you become a government leader. Okay, then moving next. Now there are competitive examinations that you can give and become a law officer for some bank or multinational organizations. Or after acquiring LLB degree, you can go for post-graduation LLM degree. Then you may clear the NET or SET examination and join the academia, the teaching profession. You may become a law professor. That is also a deeply satisfying profession. You become the lawyer maker in that sense. Then there are many postgraduate diploma courses in labor laws, taxation laws, intellectual property rights, cyber laws, criminology, environmental law, and much more than what is written here. With those diplomas, you can become a government officer in some labor office or income tax consultant or legal advisor of a multinational corporation. You may become a cyber lawyer expert, criminal intelligence analyst, drug policy advisor. These are a few examples, my dear friend. Just bear in mind that this chart is not exhaustive. This is just a spectrum of what is there in the legal profession for you available. Now you can also then work as a legal correspondent for some newspapers or channel. You can write legal articles. You can analyze case law. You can make reporting of the legal news in the legal world. And then you can work with some NGO also, or you can start your own NGO. You can work someone as a part of LPO, that is legal process outsourcing. So if you become an expert in environmental law, then there are these options: environmental protector, analyst, general manager, product manager, and all. The details you will come to know later, but just know that these are so many options that are available to a law degree holder in those days, in current days. In my days, there were only 2, 3 options. When we used to acquire LLB degree, the profession, of course, was not much in demand also. I mean, the LLB degree was not much in demand. Only we had very limited options, either to join the legal profession as a lawyer or to become a professor in law college or to just join judiciary. That's all. But now with passage of time, it's almost 30 years. With passage of time, so many opportunities have grown and the profession is much in demand. Now let's move to the next slide, knowing now I have spoken much good about the legal profession and the degree of law, but let us also be aware of what are the pros and cons of becoming a lawyer. Pros means the good part, cons means the not so good part. May not be bad, but not so good part. So when you become a lawyer, you become aware of the rights and duties, which common man is not much aware of. You know, just look at our freedom struggle movement. Who were at the forefront? Only lawyers. And not only lawyers, but I mean majority of them were lawyers. And why it happened that the lawyers were at the forefront? Because lawyers had legal education. They were aware of their rights, especially the right of self-governance. They became aware of that and then started demanding that, and they played a central role in the freedom movement. That is what I mean by awareness of rights and duties. Then you have a power to make a difference in someone's life. It offers you job security. The profession of law, of course, offers you opportunity and growth in all respects: mental, emotional, financial growth. And then it gives you great prestige. Look at the names of top lawyers, how prestigious they are. And when you look at some lawyer also, you feel generally, I mean, so, there was a time when people used to look at a lawyer in negative sense, but I think now the time has changed. People start looking at lawyers with respect and prestige. And then there is a lot of diversity in the profession. There is absolutely no end. You can become a documentation lawyer, you can become a family court lawyer, cooperative lawyer, service law lawyer, you can become a writ lawyer exclusively in high court, you can become a Supreme Court lawyer, lot of diversity, and the profession is very high paying. Not in the initial stage. Let me be very frank with you. In the initial stage, you don't get much, but you get money. It's not that you don't get nothing. Sorry, it's not that you get nothing, but you don't get much. With passage of time, of course, your income increases and there is no end to it. Then let's look at the cons. Profession is very competitive. There are so many people, and the clientele is not in a position to understand who is good, who is bad. But still, with your own work, with your own integrity, you can develop and generate a trust in the clientele. So you will stand out, though the profession is competitive. It's quite time consuming. You know, there is a saying in our profession that the profession of law, the law is a jealous mistress. Jealous mistress. Just like a mistress who demands much time of the man, the profession also demands your time. It's time consuming. You have to devote time if you have love for the profession. And it's not difficult once you are in a position to manage your time properly, you manage your life. Though the profession is time consuming, you can enjoy all aspects of the life. Then profession is highly demanding. It puts it demands mental abilities, it demands your time, it demands your capabilities that you have to devote to. And then there is a possibility of making some foes, means some enemies. But let me tell you, friends, we all lawyers always work in an atmosphere of brotherhood. Sometimes there are some exceptions where, because of cases, enmity develops, but this happens rarely. Though this point is mentioned here, possibility of making foes, it's not very strong. The possibility is less. So, so after seeing these pros and cons, let's move on to what is CLAT and what is NLUs. Why CLAT and why NLUs? Now let us understand what is CLAT and what is NLU. CLAT means Common Law Admission Test. This is an entrance test for admission to NLU, means National Law Universities. Now, what are National Law Universities? See, an experiment was done a few years before. There were normal law colleges in the country, but one experiment was done and one special law college, uh, entirely devoted to the teaching of law. It was a university in itself, started at Bangalore many years before. And it produced such wonderful lawyers that the experiment was repeated. And now, by this time, there are 22 national law universities all across the country. And whenever a college is recognized as an NLU, just understand it is a topmost law college in the country. There are thousands and thousands law colleges in country, but NLUs are only 22. That's how you can understand the importance of an NLU. Getting admission in NLU is a matter of prestige. It's a matter of uh, good. It's a good thing. So this CLAT examination is actually a doorway to NLU. What it actually is, you can see from this slide. It evaluates the comprehension and reasoning skills of a candidate. Overall, it is designed to be a test of aptitude and skills that are necessary for a legal education. So that tests your ability whether you have that material of becoming a lawyer or not. If you don't have that, you are out. You can go to any other law college. But if you have that material, that special material, that is tested. They don't. This CLAT exam doesn't test your knowledge of law. It does. I mean, it helps to know law, know the basics of law in clearing some paper like general knowledge or current affairs or legal reasoning. But it is not a test of your knowledge of law because you will be learning law after you get admission in NLU. What CLAT requires is just some basic knowledge of law, though it is not a must, but it helps. Okay. So as we saw that NLUs are the topmost law colleges in India, the importance of NLU also lies in the fact that it provides you a very conducive atmosphere for learning law alone. There is no khichdi of so many subjects. It purely concentrates on law. It helps you build your personality if you are an aspiring lawyer. All the seeds of being a good lawyer are sowed in NLUs only. There are various activities conducted like moot courts, negotiations, client counseling, court visits, and internship. All these activities saturate you with learning of law. Then you come in contact with that quality friends who are like-minded, who are having the same aims and objectives as you, and you get connected with them very quickly and nicely. And one important thing that I would like to tell you is that the NLUs are actually more driven to or focused upon or are so designed as to prepare you for joining corporate world as a lawyer, the legal field in corporate world. That is what the CLAT and NLUs are all about. But it doesn't mean that if you get a degree from NLU, you would not be in a position to become a litigating lawyer. In any way, NLUs equip you much better than any other normal law college. Bear in mind that that's the importance of NLUs. Now let us quickly take a look at what is the syllabus and nature of CLAT examination. See, there are 5 subjects that you have to clear and you have to appear at: English language, then current affairs, I mean this GK, general knowledge, it includes static GK and the current affairs. Then legal reasoning. This is a very interesting subject you will enjoy. Legal reasoning, it contains small problems, legal problems, and you have to answer the right answer. You have to choose the right answer, I mean. Then logical reasoning and quantitative aptitude techniques. So these 5 subjects and the standard, the level of these subjects are of 10 standard. Not much. They are not heavy subjects. Another important thing that I would like to share with you and with my own experience, because my wife was many years before my wife was into this life coaching and all that. So I had an opportunity to look at the subjects uh, in depth. So I would say that these subjects also lay a foundation if you want to go for other competitive exams in future. They are so wonderfully designed that they generate interest in you for appearing in different competitive exams. Also, if you are
I think Naushar's internet has frozen, I think.
Riddhi, there seems to be some
Yes.
connectivity issues with this Professor
No.
Kubalkar, so maybe we could move on for now.
Sure, sure.
Okay, okay, all right, no worries. So yes, reminding all the
also
participants.
in like,
Oh, sorry.
sorry,
Yes,
madam.
sir. Sorry, your network. There was some issue with your network, so your video was frozen. Please continue.
Okay, now is it possible? Now is it
Yes, yes.
clear?
Now it's proper. Yeah, yeah, it is clear.
So which portion did I miss? Did you all miss? I mean, the syllabus and nature of CLAT.
Yes, sorry, we are done
You
with the
Would
subject areas and
you were at legal reasoning, sir. Legal reasoning is one of the
so,
important components.
thank you so much. So legal reasoning is a very interesting subject which consists of small problems, and then there are certain answers you have to choose. The right answer you have to choose. Then that's a very interesting subject. Then logical reasoning and quantitative technique. The thing that I wanted to say, you must have missed all. I'll repeat that is about these subjects is that these subjects are so nicely designed that they also enable you. They lay a foundation for enabling you to appear in other competitive exams. They are wonderfully designed, and that is the advantage of the Clatt preparation. Now, let me just come to the actual number of marks. The number of marks, maximum marks are 150. The examination is of 2 hours, and there you have to answer not in longhand but multiple choice questions. You have to choose the right option, and all the 150 questions carry 1 mark each. And if you give a wrong answer, 0.25 mark will be deducted for each wrong answer. So beware of that. And you will be trained for all this by by Arkin Institute. You will come to know the details about these things later. So, what is the right time to begin preparation for Clatt? Obviously, immediately after passing 10th standard and as soon as you join 11th standard. Is my video paused? Hello? Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, you are audible. You are audible,
Yes,
sir.
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I'll just finish within 1 minute. So the right time to prepare for Clatt is immediately on entering 11th standard, because you get 2 full years before you appear for Clatt examination after clearing 12th standard. You get 2 full years for preparation of Clatt exam, and you have to best utilize these 2 years for preparation of your Clatt exam along with your routine course, whatever it is of 11th and 12th standard. So friends, that's it. Thank you very much for your time and patience. And further, you will be guided by the Arkin Institute about all the details of how to go about these things, preparation of Clatt and all these things. Thank you very much for hearing me patiently, and my best wishes to all the students who have joined this morning webinar. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really insightful, and I'm sure students are going to get a lot of knowledge and experience out of all the things that you've mentioned. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, just reminding all the participants out there to keep your questions ready if you all have any, and you all can start posting on the particular chat that we have. And as soon as we are done with all the speakers, we would be opening the forum for question answers. Right. So, without further delay, I'll just start my presentation. And now we have, so now we have Parul Joshi ma'am again, who is the chairperson of Arkin Institute. And at the same time, she is also a very passionate academician. So over to you, ma'am. I'll just start the presentation.
Good afternoon once again. I think Nahu sir has to stop his so that you can be able to share yours.
Yeah.
Nahu sir will
Yes.
need to stop his presentation.
Yes.
So these are broadly the careers that we are going to throw some light on today in today's session. It is about law, hotel management, business management, about NDA, design and architecture. So in case I request all the participants to go through the careers that we are talking about. So you can, and we have, not to say last but not the least, Arkin has your guidance for many more careers other than this also. Due to shortage of time, we have not been able to put all the careers on our list right now or as of now. So even if you're looking for other options, please put it in the chat and we will connect with you for future webinars. Starting with design now as a career choice. With design, we have 4 most important exams, that is NID, NIFT, UCID, and architecture, which give you choices to become a professional, earn a Bba degree in design. Depending on which course and which college or which university or which stream you choose, you will get your bachelor's of design in that program. To just sum it up, I would like to throw light on where all design is involved. We have a very famous slogan here in Arkin with us that anything and everything that you use from the toothbrush that you use in the morning to the pillow that you use at night when you go to bed, and everything that you have touched upon or experienced in that entire day has been designed. Unawarely, you are interacting with a lot of designs that have been done by professional designers. We all know that the clothes we wear are designed. We know the mobile phones that we are using, they are designed. The apps on it is designed. UI UX is a very, very upcoming, very promising and very lucrative profession in design. That's the most happening thing right now in design. We'll come to that a little later after this presentation. So there are more than 40 professions which you can choose to get a bachelor's in degree and become a specialized professional in more than 40 professions. We can start here with National Institute of Fashion Technology, that is NIFT. The entrance exam is also called NIFT, and it gives you a bachelor's program for undergrad students in these verticals, that is accessories design, fashion, leather, textile, knitwear. Communication, of course, is not into the design parameter, but other programs are very much related to design. So NIFT has its any famous fashion designer that you can think of has been a NIFT alumni. So these are some of the best campuses, just like NLUs were the best in universities for law. NIFT is the best place to get your fashions degree in. They have about 17 odd campuses, out of which the best 3 are Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore. So we like to send our students to the best of campuses for NIFT. The other institute is, and one of the most prominent, not only at the national level, but internationally, is the National Institute of Design. It has about 5 campuses as of date, which are running, and they too are giving out, you can go to the previous slide, Riddhi. They too are giving out bachelors of design in animation, film, product, furniture, textile, graphic design, and spatial design. So NID is one of the most prominent design colleges internationally. And very recently, about a few months back, there were reports that the NIFT placement, this NID placement this year has broken all records, and they have had placements of up to 72 lakhs from the campus itself. So y'all can imagine what is the level of competency or the level of skill that this institute is giving out. They have, these are the 5 campuses, the locations of these campuses that we have been telling you about. And also we have told you what courses they are offering. Another institute, more premium, we would say, than NID is UCED. The exam is called UCED. It is conducted by IIT, and they have also about 3 to 5 campuses, and they are giving out bachelor's of degree in courses, again, similar to NID, like mobility design, like industrial design, and moving images design. So UCED is one of the most competitive exams presently. I would say it's become even more competitive than an IIT JEE because they have very, very limited seats and lots of applicants. In fact, that is so for an NID also, for NIFT also. So NIFT, although they may be having more seats, about 2,000 seats on the national level, but as I said earlier, we aim at sending the students to the best of campuses, which then becomes very competitive for them because we have very few seats and they have to be among the top 200 or 300 in the merit list. So accordingly, our training sees to it that they are prepared in a rigorous manner and given all the necessary feedbacks and trainings required for them to crack these exams. Last but not the least, in design is architecture. architecture is involving design of buildings, interiors. There are so many more avenues opening up for architecture now. Something most recent, something very, very happening now is about the environment friendly design or green buildings that we are thinking about. So there are our students who are doing their specialization in those streams and becoming, lead rated professionals, or there are various avenues which an architect, once you become an architect, there are various avenues in which you can work upon. So there is interior design, there is of course building a design of buildings, there is design of landscapes, that it involves designing towns and cities, not only buildings, and many more avenues, as I told you. The qualification or the eligibility for architecture is you need to have your 11th and 12th done in with science stream, that is physics, chemistry and mathematics. These are the 3 compulsory subjects. You are also supposed to score a minimum of 50% as of date. The condition is that you are supposed to score a minimum of 50% in physics, chemistry and maths, as well as minimum of 50% on your aggregate HSE score. If you have that, you are eligible to appear for NATA, and the merit list for admissions is made through considering 50% of your NATA score and 50% of your HSE score. So both the scores for architecture, if you are interested in a career in architecture, then both these scores are equally important. When we prepare students for NATA, there is another parallel exam, that is JEE paper 2. A commonly asked question is whether the kids who are interested in JEE, NATA are required to give JEE. The answer to that is no. You do not need to give JEE mains or advanced, but we have our students appear for JEE paper 2, which is an entirely different exam than mains or advanced. And it gives you eligibility to get admissions to the NITs, to the IITs, and even certain government colleges or certain other universities. They do consider the score for JEE paper 2. So we recommend that the students give both the exams. So many a times the best of the 2 score is considered, and it could become helpful for the student to gain admission where they could otherwise be losing their seat. So IIT Kharagpur is supposed to be one of the best for architecture, but if you have to go to IIT Kharagpur, of course you have to go through the mains and the JEE papers. But other than that, there is SPA, there is CEPT, there is JJ, and all these other colleges and many more colleges, which are, since we are having an audience, I believe, from all over India today. So there are about hundreds of colleges across India, and most of them, thankfully for us, the level of education is quite good, and as per global standards also, we are faring really well for architecture education in our country. So other than what you see here, there are very many other good colleges of architecture which could be closer to your place of stay, which you could opt for. So if these are broad, I would like to tell you that we have had many requests from other parents and students who are keen into design careers, and the time today doesn't permit us to give you much detailed information about these careers. So shortly, by the middle of next week, we will be holding another webinar where we will be telling you in detail about the courses that are available for design, the best colleges there, the syllabus there, and how you could be trained for cracking those most competitive exams, and what are the prospects of those careers. So you can stay connected with us and let us know of your interest, so we could be keeping you in the loop when we have the more detailed webinar on design by the middle of next week. And in the meantime, if anyone has any questions about any of the discussion that has been that is going on right now, please you can type it in your chat box and let us know. We will try to communicate or clarify your queries or answer your queries here today, as many as we can. Over to you, Riddhi.
All right, thank you so much. That was very informative and very insightful. Now, for the next topic, we have Dr. Sumit Kumar, who is also a director of Arkin. Dr. Sumit is a profession who has knowledge, experience, and expertise in so many fields altogether. He is a living example of the quote learning never exhaust mind. So Dr. Sumit is an engineer. He completed his MBA. He also did his PhD in management, and he is also an ex-naval officer. To top it off, currently he is studying masters in counseling psychology. It is immense pleasure to have you on board and address the youngsters that we have today. Over to you, Dr. Sumit.
Thank you so much, Riddhi ma'am. Good morning, all the participants. So let's go to the next slide. So folks will be talking about two things. One is towards the administration part, all courses related towards administration, and then the other one is towards defense services. So first, let's talk about the business administration. As you can see on the slide, so this is one of the promising career, I would say, towards administration. So people who all are interested in managing people, managing policies, defining procedures, defining protocols, or becoming CFO of any company, chief financial officer, or chief HR officer, or any CXO kind of post. So I mean, if you see any MNC, so you will see there are so many CXO posts, all executive posts. So they all have MBA background. Now, there are certain courses which starts after +2 only. So most of you would have heard about BBA, but few of you would have heard about integrated BBA and MBA. So when I say integrated, so they are combined. So I mean BBA and MBA both are combined. So it's a 5 year course, and then the best part of it, once you get inside, I mean, once you get into integrated course, you don't need to appear for any other competitive exams for your masters. So if you see on the slide, so there are certain colleges, especially for BBA, only for BBA. So that is for Delhi University. Then we have SCT for Symbiosis Pune. Symbiosis is one of the prestigious colleges, and then I'm one of their alumni. And NPAT is for Narsee Mumbai. So those are for BBA. However, at the right hand side, if you see, there are many IIMs. Those are the new IIMs, and one of them is IIM Indore. And I've been IIM Indore followed by IIM Rohtak, and then IIM Bodh Gaya and IIM Jammu. So they conduct or they consider IPMAT score. So the best part of this, once you get in, the average package is more than 22 lakhs. More than 22 lakhs. I'm talking about average package. The highest is sometimes around, like 55 lakhs or so. So after +2, you can get into all these IIMs, be it Indore and Rohtak. For Bodh Gaya and Jammu, there is another test that is being conducted, which is GIP MAT. And one of the university located out of Ahmedabad, Gujarat, is Nirma University. They also accept IP MAT score, and this is one of the prestigious colleges. So people who have inclination towards, or students who have inclination towards management, or managing policies, as I was mentioning about, or becoming a HR, becoming a finance guy, or becoming an operational analyst, they can get into all these courses. If you can go to the next slide, ma'am. Now, also with respect to time, I mean, if you have any query related to management courses, certainly you can stay in touch with us, and then we will be more than happy to answer all your queries. And now we'll be moving to a different side of career altogether. So from management, now we are talking about defense services, and this is one of the services which always brings smile on my face. And most of you would be knowing, right? This is the only services, before I start how to get into, this is the only services, only government services, I would say, wherein you get pension after you retire. Otherwise, everywhere else, the pension is stopped. Now, National Defense Academy is one of the institute of Ministry of Defense located in Khadagwasla, Pune. In the lap of nature, you would see, like all the dam and all the like greenery surrounded by it. So it has three branches in it. So one is for Army, one is for Navy, and then the other one is for Air Force. Before 2021, this is one of the important announcements that I would like to make. Before 2021, I mean last year itself, only guys, when I say guys, boys were allowed to get into NDA. But after 2021, Supreme Court had a ruling towards that, and then now girls are also allowed, so they can get into Army as well as Navy and Air Force. But they will not get into combat services, where you go to the border and fight with enemies. But they will get into logistics, education, communication, all those kind of stuff. So now there are different eligibility criteria for different wings. When I say wings, I'm talking about different services of defense like Army, Navy, and Air Force. So if you want to pursue a career in Army, if you have an arts background or probably a commerce background also, then you will it will also help. I mean, but if you have to get into naval or Air Force wings, then you need to have PCM at your 12th level. So physics, chemistry, and maths. The exam is bifurcated into two parts. So one is a written exam, and it is being conducted by UPSC. And the total number of students appeared, I'm talking from the last exam count, were 2,10,000, and out of that only 4,000 were selected in the written test, and post that only around 400 or 400 something seats are there for NDA. Now you can see around 1% or probably like 2% of results that happens after written test. So I mean, being UPSC exam, it is one of the toughest exams to actually. So once you clear the written test, you get into you get an call letter for SSB, which is called Service Selection Board, which is again a 5 days exam conducted by different boards. When I say different boards, so different services like Air Force, Army, and Navy, whatever services you have selected or opted. And during those 5 days, you are tested on different metrics like physical metrics, medical metrics. Then also you are tested upon how good you are as a team player, how good you can perform in a given type of scenario, psychological, psychometric, so many tests that happen. So we here at Arkin help you clear the written test, not only the written test, but also the SSB examination. We have trained so many students till now who are working officers in different services. So if you can go to the next slide, ma'am. Okay, so one more thing, I mean, before we start talking about the hotel management, this is one services I'm talking from the NDA perspective, wherein you get all the facilities. When I say facilities, imagine we talked about different courses after +2, and then we also know that there are so many courses, engineering and medical after NEET and after IITs. Everywhere you have to pay something, be it government university or be it non-government university, private university. You have to pay something, you have to pay fees, and then you complete the course and then you get a job. However, it is totally opposite in the case of NDA. So once you complete your +2, you get into NDA after clearing all the examinations, I mean the SSB and then the written examination. The day you join the NDA, your salary starts. And the salary is like anything. I mean, a lieutenant who is a new joiner gets around 70,000 plus. And then you not only get the salary, you also get the food, you also get the clothing, you also get a quarter to live in. So there is a old saying in India that roti kapda or makan. These are the basic aspects or basic things that we need for our livings or for our livelihood. And all these roti kapda and makan you get free in the different services besides salary. So entire salary goes into saving. So this is one of the premium and prestigious exams conducted by UPSC. If you have any kind of query or questions, do stay in touch with us and let us know. And meanwhile, I'll let Riddhi ma'am to go to the next section of our counseling.
So, sir, rightfully we can say that the most significant or the most important service of the nation is taken care of well by the government?
Yes, ma'am, certainly, indeed. And that is why if you see the pay structure, if you see the other facilities, I mean, once you become an officer, so you get a person to cook in your house, you get a gardener, you get a driver, and imagine a guy who is only 21 or 22 years old getting all these facilities.
Wonderful.
So,
wonderful.
And Sumit sir, Dr. Sumit sir, if
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not mistaken, after you clear first round of the exam for NDA, the moment you clear that, after that every expenditure, including going to appear for 5 days SSB test, lodging, boarding, traveling, staying, everything is in free, no?
Yes, yes, a nice point that you mentioned or brought out. So, to all the students and parents listening out to me and to us, imagine, I mean, give me a name of any exam or probably any competitive or college related or entrance exam wherein you are paid for traveling. This is the only exam I would say. So, once you clear the written exam, you are called for SSB. While you travel for SSB, you submit your tickets, and that is third class ACS tickets, and to the board, and they will pay you that. They will pay you the ticket fare as well. So like they take care of you as their son, as their daughter. Once you clear the written exam itself, even for 5 days, they give you all the fooding and lodging free of cost. So I mean, no expenditure at all once you clear the written test. So imagine, I mean, how they treat you. So there is a big saying while I was in training. So I remember that they say in Hindi mostly. So they say that like अब तुम अपने mom dad के बच्चे नहीं हो, अब तुम हमारे बच्चे हो. Will take care of that. So don't worry about that. Each and every expenditure and each and every, I mean, be it medical or be it personal, whatever it will be. So that is something that is.
So one question, please.
Yeah.
What kind of questions can one expect in the entrance exams if you are not from a science background? If you're aiming to join the army, you said that
Mhm.
science background is not a necessity. So in that case, what kind of a competitive exam do you have to appear for?
So generally, we'll talk about in detail in question and answer, but I'll give you a high level perspective. So it is all general studies. So I mean, basic quants, a bit of reasoning, a bit of English. So those kind of mixture. We'll talk about the syllabus and everything in detail in the question and answer session. Radha ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. So Aridhi ma'am, we can go to the next section of our presentation.
All right. Thank you so much, Sumit sir. So many points that you mentioned. I'm sure a lot of us were not really aware of the same. So thank you so much. It was wonderful having you speak about the same. So yes, next we have hotel management, and for that we have Prajwali ma'am. She has completed her BSc in hospitality and hotel management from one of the most prestigious institute, that is IHM Mumbai. And I'm so glad that she would be here sharing her insights about the same. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction, Riddhi ma'am. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible, ma'am.
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, thank you. So, as we all know, hotel industry is never ending and one of the fastest growing sector in 21st century. So, this is because the career opportunities after hospitality courses or hotel management are limitless in the domestic as well as in the international market. So after completing the course, you can choose to work for five-star hotels like Taj, Oberoi, or Marriott. And there are other options like airlines, cruise liners, Indian Navy, and many more. And good thing is that many government and private colleges in India offer degree and diploma courses for hotel management, and also they provide placements. And few of them, I guess you can see it on the screen. Next slide, please. So these are the few top colleges, and you will have to sit for the entrance exam called NCHM JEE to appear for the hotel management course, and on the basis of your score, you will get your college. So, and one thing I would like to mention about this industry, so this industry keeps you in touch with the lavish lifestyle and offers a chance to travel worldwide. So if you are the one who likes to travel, who like to interact with different kinds of people, so
Gradually, ma'am, I suggest you to switch off your camera. I think your internet speed is less. So audio is a little bit disturbed. So
sure,
you
sir.
may switch off your camera and continue, right?
Yeah, sure.
Prajwali ma'am, continue, Prajwali ma'am, audio, continue your audio.
Sure, sir. So, as I was saying, this industry keeps you in touch with the lavish lifestyle and offers you a chance to travel worldwide. So, if you are the one who likes to travel, to interact with different kinds of people, to explore few places, so then this is for you. So, That's it. That's my time. Thank you.
Thank you
Over to
so
you,
much,
ma'am.
ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. That was very insightful. And now we open the forum for question and answers. We request all the participants to just mention their question in the chat box, or you all can just unmute yourself and have the questions ready for all the speakers that we have today.
Meanwhile, I request Dr. Sumit Kumar to answer that question which Radha Sharma thrown to you about NDA syllabus. Dr. Sumit Kumar.
Yes, sir. So, okay. Yep. So, yes, Radha ma'am, now we'll talk about it in little detail. As you talked about, if someone is from arts background who does not have a PCM at his +2 level, so there are two ways. Either you go with NIOS, open schooling, and then have maths at your +2 level, I mean, clear that exam, and then you can appear for Air Force and Navy as well. However, if you are interested towards only Army, then there is no need of having maths at +2 level. So the exam pattern is like this: 300 marks you get, and a total 300 marks in the written exam. And then the number of questions that you get is 120. So 120 question, each question is of 2.5, and then you multiply 120 by 2.5, you get 300 marks. There is a negative marking concept. So for each and every wrong question, you get 0.83 marks awarded, and that is negative 0.83, and the exam duration is of 2.5 hours. Now, this is something which I talked about, mathematics exam pattern. Okay, so once you have given NIOS mathematics exam and then want to get into Army, Air Force and Navy. Now, general ability, which is for Army and I mean for non-maths students. So this is the exam for 600 marks, total 600 marks. The total number of question is 150. There are different sections. So one section is English. So English has 50 questions. When I say English, it's basic. I mean, parts of speech you complete, you complete article, you complete tenses, you complete sentences correction, error detection, a couple of topics like reading comprehension and close test, those kind of topics that you have to complete. And then you get 50 questions out from all the topics that I mentioned. Now, another section is called general knowledge section. General knowledge has two components. One is static GK, and then the other one is dynamic GK. Static GK is probably like who wrote the book Wings of Fire, APJ Abdul Kalam, right? So those are static GK. The answer to those static GK questions would never change. Now the other one is dynamic GK. So dynamic GK, like who is our current president of India? So this is dynamic, right? I mean, probably it will change after a couple of years. So this is all dynamic GK. So questions from GK section would be for 100. Now, GK and general knowledge that we talked about, few of the questions, basic reasoning questions and basic mathematics questions. When I say mathematics, arithmetic questions like percentage profit and loss, compound interest, simple interest, and basic reasoning question. You will get reasoning has been divided into two parts. One is verbal reasoning, and then the other one is non-verbal reasoning. So those are the basic things that will be asked. So for this, the incorrect marking is like minus 1.33. Minus 1.33, and then the exam duration is 2.5. So this is something that is there for a non-maths student for written examination. Any further question that you have, Radha ma'am?
Riddhi ma'am, there are two questions. One is for
Yes.
which stream is best, right? Address
Yes, one is
those
from
questions
Amita. Sure, sir. So one is from Amita. Which stream is best suited for HSC if you want to pursue design? Parul ma'am, could you please provide some insight on the same?
So this is for all the other exams other than architecture, the eligibility is only a passing percentage of HSC. So in that case, we would recommend that you take whichever stream of your choice where you can comfortably get a basic passing percentage, because in NID, NIFT or UCED, your HSC score doesn't hold any value. You are given admissions to the campuses as per the merit of your exam, the way you have qualified their entrance exam. So whichever is the easiest stream for you, or whichever stream you feel you are very comfortable working with, you can choose that stream. Only for architecture, you need science as physics, chemistry, and maths as the compulsory subjects you need to have as of now for this year. And yeah, that's about it.
Thank you, ma'am. Narsha, we have two questions for you. First is, if one didn't have any exposure to law before clearing 12th, are there any difficulty he will be facing? And the second question by Ragini, what is the prospect of career in law 7 years from now? Could you please provide
Yes,
some insight?
yes. I'll answer Jignesh's question first. Jignesh, you see, if you go to the Clatt website, they themselves have clarified this aspect. I'll share with you the link here, and you can see that. And I'll also answer the question. There is no problem. You see, what they have said is that there is no necessity of prior knowledge of law or appearing in Clatt examination before 12th, but some prior knowledge of law will be useful in responding to the questions on general knowledge, legal GK that we call it. So it's not necessary, but it will prove to be useful. And that is what you will be trained at when you take up the course of CLAT preparation. So that is the thing, Mr. Jignesh. Now, the next question. Have I answered that question, Jignesh, or you have any other query? Can I move ahead? Ragini's question.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Ragini is asking what is the prospect of career in law 7 years from now? Okay. First prospect is that you continue to be a lawyer, you grow on becoming a more mature lawyer during the period of 7 years. But there are some other career prospects also, like, for example, you may apply for government leadership. That is one of the minimum requirement of practice in career of law. If you want to apply for becoming a government leader of government, or there could you can become you can appear for, I think, I'm not sure exactly 7 years or 10 years, but you may be able to appear for the district government the district judge position. That could be another uh, prospect for you. So 7 years of law practice gives you quite an experience, and it makes you definitely eligible for these avenues. So that is what it is.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. We have another question from Shabana ma'am. How to help a child giving his 10th boards to select between science and commerce apart from the psychometric test? So I would want to take that.
Riddhi ma'am,
Yes, yes.
if you allow me, I would like to address this question.
Sure, please, sir.
So, Shabana ma'am, see, this is the question asked by parents regularly, that how to select particular stream. So, my clear advice is, suppose if you are not aiming for architecture, go for easiest option your child will be able to take. The reason is what? Because other than architecture, no course requires you to have any specific branch, any specific subject, or any specific percentage in 12th standard board. Your 12th standard board result will not be looked at also at the time of admission. Only requirement will be minimum 45% or 50% according to your category. So that is the only criteria which is governing admission. So my advice is to opt for the branch which is easiest for the child. And I strongly recommend not to go for science if you are not aiming for architecture. Okay. Anything else,
Thank you, sir.
Shabana ma'am? Okay. Another Riddhi ma'am, if you allow me,
Yes.
there is a question about can we aim and prepare for BBA and law at the same time? There is a question from Amita M. So should I
Yes.
address that question?
Yeah, sure, sir. You and Sumit sir as well can join in for that question.
Okay.
Excuse
So
me, sir.
yes, Pooja ma'am.
Sir, from my student also, one question is there that what exam to be given to become a UI or UX designer?
Yes, okay. So I will address that also. So
Yeah.
first, let me address the question of Amita M. Can we aim and prepare for BBA and law at the same time? So Riddhi ma'am, suppose if you go to the slide where we have two division, where one is design and one is architecture, I think second or third slide, right? So it will be very clear to everyone. Yes. This. Now see, every parent and student try to concentrate on this. If your child is in 11th or 12th standard, So you should be making up your mind whether they want to go for management oblique law field or design field. So we offer a course where complete management course for the student of 11th and 12th standard. If you take complete management course, you can opt for any branch, any exam of law, hotel management, business management, and NDA. If you opt for complete design course, complete creativity course, so your child will be able to take any exam related to design like NID, NIFT, UCIT, and architecture. So I hope this answers your question, Amitaya. And now the question is from Pooja madam, that UI UX design. So that is a post graduation level. So student after completing 12th standard should be aiming to join NID or fine arts or NIFT or UC IIT. After that, at the post graduation level, you can select this specific branch. I will narrate one very good example of a person named Dimant Vyas. He completed his fine arts painting 4-year professional painting course for MS University, Vadodara, Gujarat. During the course, professors discovered that he is very good at preparing moving images. So every professor suggested him to go to animation course at post-graduation level at NID. So he cracked the NID post-graduation exam and he did animation course of 2.5 years at NID. And after that, Amir Khan just got information about him and he gave a break to Dimant Vyas in Tare Zameen Par. So in Tare Zameen Par, first type of animation, moving animal and fishes and everything made out of clay. So clay animation was the first time in India, and now Dimant Vyas is #1 animator of Asia. So you don't focus on any specific course at undergraduate level. Try to go to any institute where you get admission into NID, NIFT, UCIT, architecture, or fine arts. At post-graduation level, you will be having lots of options. And now, sir, meanwhile, may I request you to post your YouTube channel's link so many students will be able to understand about law and different aspects of law.
Yes, sure. I'll post it just within a second.
Okay.
But
And
before that,
yes,
sir,
yes.
before that, with
Continue.
your permission, can I address that Anita's question again? She has
Yes,
asked
sir. Yes,
for-
sir. Yes.
You
sir.
answered it very beautifully, sir. I just want to add one thing to it. She has asked whether we can aim and prepare for BBA and law at the same time. But I want to tell her that, see, some of the colleges offer the courses of law which also have a BBA degree. Like there are courses BA LLB, just like that there are courses BBA LLB. You know, right now I am having a link of Symbiosis Law School Nagpur, which will show you that they are running two courses like this. One is BA LLB and the other is BBA LLB. So what Dave sir guided you was about preparation for these entrance examinations. I am adding to that by telling you that it's possible to acquire both the degrees at the same time in 5 years course. Okay, now about the link that of my channel is that the name of the channel is Legal Inspiration, and I'm just posting the link within half minute. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Any
much,
other
sir.
question? Thank you, now, sir. Thank you, Kubalkar, sir.
Yes, sir. Welcome.
Any other question?
Right. I would also like to add to the way, sir, about Shabana ma'am's question. So, along with psychometric tests, two other things that a person can look at in the 10th standard, in the child who is giving his or her 10th standard boards, is personality and also interest. Because as I mentioned earlier, that the person can have an aptitude in a particular area, in a particular field, but if the child's interest is not there in that particular field or his personality is not suiting in that field, it will be very difficult in a long term journey. Maybe during the education, the child will cope up and will probably do really well as well because the child is having aptitude. But apart from that, later on, it might create a little bit of burnout or even exhaustion if the personality is not inclined or the child is not having any kind of interest in that field. So yes, I think seeing all the four areas together in order to decide a career is very important. Aptitude, personality, interest, and also emotional intelligence to a certain extent.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That answers to my question.
Ahush
You
sir,
most
I think
welcome.
one more question is for you through Jignesh Lad.
Yes,
Can
yes,
we
I
do
have
LLB
answered that.
after BCom?
Yes, I have answered that in the chat, but I'll answer it for benefit of all. Yes, it is possible to acquire an LLB degree after acquiring BCom degree. But then for that, you will have to go for 3 years law course. If you want to do 5 years course anyways, even after acquiring BCom degree, then that will be on the basis of your 12th standard marks, no, and the Clatt examination, not on the basis of just BCom degree. If you want to acquire LLB degree after BCom degree, still you have to appear for entrance examination conducted by the state governments. That is called CET law. Like here, the webinar that we are holding today is about NLUs and Clatt. There are other entrance exams also conducted by state government for admission to both 5 years and 3 years in colleges other than NLUs. So you can acquire an LLB degree after acquiring BCom degree in this manner. I hope I have answered your question, Jignesh.
Sir, uh, yeah, CS combined with LLB will also help in career, sir.
Certainly, very much. That is one of the very good combinations. LLB, CS, and those people are mainly they mainly prefer a career in corporates. Company secretary, having knowledge of law is always an added advantage.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for all the
There is
questions
one
and thank you so
question from
much. Yes,
Sarayu TK.
Sharayu. Yes, yes. How should my child pursue career as a chef after 10th standard? So, yes, can I request Dr. Sumit or Prajwali ma'am to take up this question?
I think Prajwali is not having a good internet. So,
Okay.
Sharayu, there are exams conducted by the National Council of Hotel Management, NCHM, which is qualifying you to get an admission to the best of IHMs, which is Institute of Hotel Managements. There are a certain listed IHMs through which through the exam through which you can get admission to these institutes. And Arkin is conducting training for those entrance exams. You can connect with us for further details of the course, and we will also be holding more sessions on as I suggested earlier, that we will be having individual course based orientations conducted soon after this webinar. So we will give you more details on that as well.
And there is a question, Parul ma'am, from Rehan Koja. Could you mention some information about pursuing the career in IASN? So what I suggest is,
Yes. So
Rehan, you can
Rehan,
contact Parul ma'am directly. If you are from which city, Rehan?
I think he is from Mumbai, and
Okay,
yes,
okay.
Rehan, I can definitely help you with an IAS or IFS, and I'll connect with you after this webinar. Any other students also, if they're interested in any form of government services, banking services, as I told you earlier, we at Arkin are doing many more courses and exams than what we have been mentioned here. Because of the limitation of time, we are not able to tell you all about it in this one webinar, but we have tried to pack in the maximum content that we can. Manisha, yes, after 10th, the design doesn't happen. The admissions to the most premier institutes for design doesn't happen after 10th. It is after 12th, but the preparation for these exams, they happen after 10th. So we start preparing students immediately after their 10th, because as I said earlier, the content of the exam is very, very different. Unfortunately, due to our education system, what the students learn in their 10th or 11th and 12th has got, it's like nothing to do with the content of the exam or what skills they need or what thoughts or what reasonings they need to crack these exams. So we train them for the exams after their 10th, and they are supposed to appear for the exams while they are in their 12th. So a student who has just appeared for 10th now, his or her exams will start in 2024 January. January 2024 onwards, his entrance exams, the schedule of his entrance exams are given out. About the field, Manisha, as we said earlier, even Dave sir has tried to emphasize that you take a field which is most comfortable for your child, because as even I told you earlier, the content that they are going to learn on the HSC syllabus, the 11-12 syllabus, it has nothing to do with the exam syllabus or the content of the exam or what they need to learn to become designers. So it neither is it accounted for giving them admissions to the courses. So you get admissions in the best colleges based on the performance of the entrance exam, and you just need a minimum eligibility for your 12th in your 11th and 12th. So just aim at the most easiest field for 11th and 12th for your child, and the rest you can leave it to us.
I think almost everything is covered up. So, Riddhi ma'am, let us conclude.
Yes, yes,
Haryu
absolutely.
has one question. I'll just take it quickly. After
Sure.
10th or 12th, so Sharyu, ideally after 10th, because all these exams that we are talking about nowadays, they are very, very competitive exams, and we want our students to get into the best colleges where the competition even becomes higher. So after 10th is the right time for any of these preparations to start for your child, so you can be effectively prepared to crack for the best of institutes.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that. So yes, I'm sure there might be quite a lot of questions because all the fields are so vast in its own. So all the participants, feel free to connect with Arkin even after this webinar. And as ma'am rightly mentioned, we would be having a lot of follow-up webinars as well about the career aspects. So thank you so much once again, all of you all, for joining on a Sunday. It really means a lot to us. And at the same time, thank you, a very big thank you for all the speakers out there. You all have provided a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge to the young generation who is going to make such an important career choice. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot,
Thank you
everyone.
all, and we look forward to seeing you all again in the preceding subsequent webinars on the individual courses. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Kubalkar sir. Thank you, Prajwali.
Thank you, sir,
Thank you,
and well
Sabana
done.
ma'am. Thank you,
Thank you,
Riddhi.
everyone.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sumit sir. Thank you, Supriya ma'am. Thank you, Pooja ma'am.